Hey everybody, welcome to the Keep Warm Together podcast, the podcast that talks about the process of making games, specifically what we're working on here at Midwinter Entertainment. Today I have two people who work in the environment in Scavengers, on the environment itself. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Chase. I'm an engineer. I primarily help support the environment team. My biggest feature so far has been our snow deformation system.
Which I love, by the way. I think I told you that when I first got here. I was like, who does the snow here? And then we have...
Hi, my name is Mark Linington. I'm working as a senior environment artist on Scavengers. I've been working in games for about 20 years, and my primary focus right now is working on the building system. And also the dropship and different vehicles. So a mixture of a few things.
Dude, and 20 years is a long time, dude.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy. What are some gray hair? What are some games that people know you from?
So I've worked on Mass Effect 2 and 3 and Far Cry and Assassin's Creed, Prince of Persia.
Dude, that's everything.
Lots of different games. I worked at
Yeah.
Ubisoft for about 10 years.
Cool. Yeah, Mass Effect. Thank you for that. Whatever work you did in that, thank you.
I had no idea you were coming.
Yeah, one of my favorite games of all time.
Me too.
And Chase, you're out of school, right? Fresh out of school, or have you been doing stuff before this?
Yeah, sort of. So I'm still finishing up my thesis, and so I'm defending in a few weeks. So fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Well, today we're talking about the environment, and in general, like the world of Scavengers. And I thought we could start with the snow, because obviously this place is covered in snow. And like we just alluded to, we talked when I first got here about the snow and you working on it. I love the deformation.
Thank you.
Is deformation difficult?
Well, so it's kind of funny you asked that, because when I first started working on this, I was Googling around for stuff, and I initially happened across a Unreal tutorial that was like an hour long and says, hey, this is how you get snow deformation in your game. And so it was something that kind of we got up and running really quickly, and then as the project and its needs kind of evolve, then one more thing gets added, and pretty soon it's a much bigger undertaking now, that we have to make it run fast, we have to make it blend in with all the rest of the terrain, we have to make it look nice with the animations.
Interact with all the different things in the world that are there now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, where do you think it's come a long way since you started on it? How do you feel like it is now?
For sure. It's pretty much a completely different system than the first time we did it. It's been rewritten a few times just to make it run faster or do any number of different stuff.
Yeah. Now, we were talking about Spatial OS. We talk about it a lot and it's mentioned in our articles about Scavengers. We had been talking about how it can work with snow particularly, and you were telling me that like the actual footprints can be tracked and forever, or like any footprints, keeping track of them all the time? Yeah,
so the way things work right now, and that obviously might change by the time we release, but the way things work right now, when you're running around, the server is keeping track of your position, and when you enter a new area, the paths of all the other players are sent to you, and you rebuild their footsteps on your end. So you're able to walk into an area and just see the paths that anyone's taken through that area.
Right, and wildlife.
And wildlife, too.
Yeah. And you can find out where that little rabbit went.
Yeah,
you get those little rabbits in the game.
They're impossible to kill, those things.
Oh, they're hard. They're wily. They're running around wily. Have you worked with snow before in a game, Mark?
Not with the tech side of it, putting it down and painting it and creating the environment with it. I've done some of that, yeah.
Yeah. And has it had like, as we've grown up in game development and how it's advanced and advances every day, and even here I'm like, oh my goodness, we can try that? Let's try it. People do new things. Do you think it's changed back then too? Was it more just like an aesthetic then and not like a physical thing?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the games way back when we did snow, it was just a texture. So, the notion of snow being able to move and deform is pretty new. I mean, there's a couple of games that are doing it now, but for us with our game, it's pretty exciting because when you're playing, you can see paths of people off in the distance, and you can kind of map out where they've gone and create strategies around those things. So it's actually a pretty cool tool for the gameplay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of those games use that new mechanic of, like The Witcher did, where it's like this weird vision, or like a Batman vision, where you're oh, now I can see what happened here.
The scan thing.
Thing, yeah. That takes me out of it sometimes. I like the idea that this is just like naturally in the environment.
Yeah, I mean, the end goal is hopefully you're able to come across some footprints and be able to tell, was this a person? Was this an animal? Are they injured? Can I go hunt them down? Stuff like that is pretty core to the strategizing when you're playing this game. And so I feel like fitting as much of that information into the footsteps as possible is a really big step in that direction.
Right now we don't have bleeding in the game, but the idea could be that you could be bleeding and hurt, and then you could track that bleeding.
Yeah, so I'm super excited to work on something like that, where if you've shot someone and they run away, you can track them down because they're bleeding all over.
Yeah.
Or if you enter a new area, you can see blood on the ground and see some fight happened here.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Especially if it trails for a while. You can like lead it back to a house and somebody's hiding,
Oh yeah, and it leads into the door.
Yeah.
But then it's a trick because they jumped out the door and they put a bomb in there. I'm just throwing out ideas.
I'm playing on your team from now on.
Yeah. I have tricky ideas. Mark, let's go to you and talk about buildings. We're talking about buildings and hiding inside them. Yeah. Every time I walk by your desk, I'm excited to what I see. Like
lots of stuff.
Yeah, old restaurants, like weird things that used to be in this world before it went away. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite part about working on this kind of stuff with the buildings?
I would say the favorite part is the fact that we can move really quickly. So we have a system right now where we're essentially building most of the buildings from like kits. So it's kind of like a Lego kit type system. So we actually build very few pieces, but we assemble it in a way that it's always unique, and you can swap materials and textures and kind of morph and blend the shapes a little bit by scaling them back and forth.
Right.
So you can quickly come up with a building within a day where it's almost completely finished, and we can just assemble, and if gameplay has specific needs, then we can quickly just put something together and iterate on different ideas for design. So we can piece together a building, play test it, and then, if we like that, we can start destroying it, pulling parts of the walls down, and then, we can start playing with the storytelling of those things, because, with the kits, we can assemble it really quickly, then we can drop props in there, and, it's a really fun process because it's just so rapid and so quick, so it's pretty exciting.
It's cool that you can do it so quickly, and then we can just play test it and be like, yeah, that works really great. I think the other part that's really cool is because we get them up quickly, we can experiment with what these buildings tell us about what the world was like before that.
Yeah.
And every time I go over my cubicle wall, because we are right next to each other, and I hear you talking to Daryl, you're both talking about like, hey, how can we tell these stories when these players are going through the world going like, what happened before here? And is there anything exciting that you're working on that you can talk about with that? Because that seems cool.
Right now we're kind of focusing on different areas of the world. So right now I'm working on a more urban type setting.
Okay.
I can't talk too much about the background of that, but I can say that in Scavengers, there's going to be many different types of buildings and environments that you're going to be able to encounter. So some are going to be more closer to current day, some are going to be a little bit more futuristic, some are going to be very destroyed, some are going to be a little bit more pristine. So it's going to be a mixture of many different locales that we're going to have.
And I think that's cool because, again, what we're doing is we're not telling the single-player story, but we're creating these environments and these worlds where people can learn these things, essentially, what happened before.
Yeah, I think that's the big key that we're trying to get across in the environment is we don't have somebody that's telling you the story or spelling out what happened in the world of Scavengers. So we want to kind of piece together what may have happened, to render the land the way it is.
Yep.
And there are little micro stories that we can tell, when you go in a house and maybe there's a dead body there and there's, magazines or a newspaper from the Times that tells you something that happened. And maybe the player, it's not going to be super in the face of the players, but if they take the time to look through, they can kind of piece together what happened.
I love that. I love that in every game. You know, I like it in single player games, but I mean, I really love it in multiplayer because you are playing with other people, but you're also learning about the world. And again, this world is fighting you all the time, so you might as well figure out what happened. Which, I can't talk about some of the things I was about to say just now, but there's a lot of interesting things we're going to do with that when it comes forward to release and stuff like that.
I think one of my favorite things that's happened in the game so far is I came into, I think it was like a shopping mall or a gas station area, and I was just running, looting, looking around for enemies, and I came across a dead body. And it was kind of like one of the first times that we kind of put like dead bodies around. And immediately I'm like, oh, this is special. I'm on guard. I turn the corner and there's Scourge right there.
Oh, right. Because that's how it happened or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And we put two and two together really quickly in our brains. Like, we make stories all the time.
Yeah.
We'd just be walking down the street and be like, see something, and be like, I wonder how, that happened. Well, it's probably this and this.
Yeah.
We piece it together ourselves. So we just need a very little bit, like a hook,
Yeah.
Speaking of hooks, in buildings, I'm always fascinated about, like, what you can actually traverse. Like, is that you too, right?
Yeah. So
as a player character.
Yeah. Yeah, so right now we do have mechanics where you can jump on things, you can mantle on things, you can climb over them and all that stuff. So we build the environment in a way that we adhere to certain specific metrics. So, when somebody's playing, if visually it looks like they can get up on something, we have to make sure that obviously that accommodates that.
Yeah.
But we're also trying some pretty different things with Traversal where a standard game, you would have just destroyed walls and you would climb up a little bit or go upstairs. But we're trying to do things where, maybe a whole story of a building is just tilted down and fallen down. And the layouts are not, perfectly on the grid. They can actually be like tilted and kind of off skew. So when you go in a building, it might have completely collapsed on its side and the floor is almost like a wall. You have to kind of like go up that, and
I've seen them in the game already. I feel like they've been there kind of a little bit where
we have a few
jump sideways onto something and you're like going up the wall.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit more interesting because a lot of games do tend to do the very squared off type building stuff, which works pretty well, but you can tell so much more of a story when you see a building that's kind of collapsed and then all the stuff that's there, like the beds and all that, have fallen down to the bottom and they're covered in snow, and that like creates another situation where you can kind of piece together what happened.
Yeah, so. And also that's reality. Like they all wouldn't be perfectly upright. They'd be like all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also that's interesting you mentioned the magazine thing because this is a frozen post-apocalyptic world. It's not a blown up one. Right, like so many of these games, it's like, they shot the missiles out and everybody died and everything disintegrated. But this is like things that might be frozen.
Yeah.
So, by the way, all the stuff in the freezer is good to eat then. Right, I just realized that. All the popsicles, ice cream, it's all good, baby. We should make ice cream in the game. It's a power-up.
We should have that. Good. Do we have that?
We don't. Why not? That makes perfect sense. Yeah. Well, isn't missed yet because we haven't released the game.
That's true.
This is why I do these podcasts, just to come up with the new ideas for you guys. Okay, so I also want to talk about, is there anything that both of you, before I go on to other things, questions, that you are working on right now that you're excited about that you don't know if you can talk about? Chase, we did one with you.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Let me come back
to him. Yeah. Mark, anything that you're doing right now that you're just about to...
Nothing that is... I mean, I don't think that there's anything that I can't really talk about. I mean, right now the stuff I'm working on is more city-based stuff.
Right.
So previously I was working on very residential type stuff that we can scatter on the outskirts of the environment. Now we're trying to get a little bit more specific and trying different types of buildings. We've had lots of like 1-2 story bungalows, and now we're kind of testing out, what's it like with 3 stories, 4 stories,
right?
And like
more buildings it would be in old cities or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the gameplay like when we go to like 3 stories and maybe you want to do a gigantic, supermarket that has multi levels and
I just because we play it every day and I remember that like the most challenge in a building has been like, okay, I'll take the top floor. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I get the bottom, you get the top, and that's it.
Uh-huh.
Now, and also going against other people, you're like, well, they're either upstairs or they're not, you know?
Uh-huh.
But if there's 4 or 5 floors, there's one thing that's in the game already that will be in the playtest, I think. It's just kind of a bigger building. I don't want to talk about what it is, and it seems really long, and there's lots of rooms.
Yeah.
I feel like that already adds a different element. Like, I'm fighting the Scourge in there, and I'm like, I don't know if I can get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was previously our biggest building. The new ones I'm doing now are actually even bigger than that.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Which
Okay.
it's kind of interesting because we're trying to do it in a way too that there's so many different ways that you can get into things. So you might go through the front door or climb through the windows, or maybe half the building collapse and you can climb through the walls and, take
right.
different traversals. Or we do have, I don't know if we can talk about the faction, the Outlanders, but they build stuff
Oh, yeah,
on
we
top
can
of
talk
the
about the
structures.
Outlanders. Yeah,
Okay. So yeah, maybe they've taken over the buildings and they've put wooden structures and they found ways to get up on the roof.
They've
So,
Outlanderized it.
Nope, that's a
That
word.
It didn't really.
It's a word now.
It felt bad coming out of my mouth. Like, it didn't seem like it worked right.
We'll work on it.
Okay.
I like it.
They outlandished it. Nope, that's
No.
bad.
No.
I'm gonna stop.
Outlanderized.
Please.
Yeah. Chase is like, please stop. You're embarrassing yourself.
But yeah, no, it's really fun doing PvP in the larger buildings because I feel like there's always some like collapsed area that I can use to flank.
Mhm.
Right.
I never feel safe walking through these buildings because I feel like anytime I pass through a doorway or past some bit of debris, there's someone just waiting right there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Now, do we know? Are we ever going to do doors? You think, like actually opening of doors?
That's a good question. I don't know. We
Okay.
have them built, so they are in the environment as collapsed doors.
Right.
But if we open them, I don't know.
Yeah.
We had talked about that at one point, and I think at one point they were.
I feel like it's
Don't
so
quote
funny
me
how
on
that
that.
happens in video games a lot. Where people are like, "Whoa, you can like move, you can open the doors." And remember, there was like a Division, I think it was. They were like, "You can close the doors on the cars," and people were like, "Whoa, really?" And then people were like, "Oh, played the game." They're like, "It wasn't that big of a deal." But I think that for this, like, traversing, hiding, that kind of stuff, it might be interesting.
Yeah.
I will talk about Broken Tree with you real quick. So people who follow our social media, they know that Dummeister, I think it was Dummeister, right? We had a moment where I showed a video with you, and I looked at you making an environment, and it was a funny video, and it has some of the most views on our YouTube channel. And then you put a tree down, and it was a broken tree, and then you took it away, and people got sad that it was gone.
I know.
It's in the game, right? Confirmed?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it just one broken tree, or do we have many broken trees?
We actually have many broken trees in many
Okay.
different situations, but that one is special.
That is special.
Yes.
Can we build it on like Broken Tree Hill or something? Can we make a name for it? That's
Yeah, probably could.
okay.
Yeah.
I feel like
Mark's
it's
like, I
deserves it.
don't do it. I don't know. Maybe
I'll
give
say
it to
yes,
somebody.
but I don't get the call on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Can at
Okay.
least put down a little plaque for it.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
snow.
yeah.
You could do like one of those little graves, like a little.
Oh yeah.
And then somebody's name etched on it.
Chase, do you have anything before we go into the next questions area?
Yeah. So one thing that I'm kind of working on right now, I can probably talk about this. So one of the engineering challenges I'm kind of tackling right now is since our map is pretty large and we've got pretty wide open visibility in a few areas, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use the LOD systems, create some systems of our own to make sure that if you see landmarks in the distance, like a mountain or something, you can always use that no matter where you are in the map. If you have line of sight to the mountain, that's a landmark for you.
Oh right.
And so there's challenges that come with we don't want to render everything when it's out that far. So we have to kind of decide, do we how do we treat the landscape so that it's simpler to render, so that the game still runs fast even though we're rendering at pretty large distances? How do we treat all of the geometry on there? Like, what do we do with foliage? That sort of stuff.
So yeah, I've just learned about that term when I started here, the LOD thing, which it's crazy if you look at some graphics in the game really closely when they are supposed to be looked at far away. How's the way I'm describing that terribly? But if if you look at something close up that's supposed to be seen far away, it looks like nothing. Like the graphics is like way simpler.
The polys are
the polys are like super
yeah.
basic.
Yeah.
So that's what you're talking about, like keeping those low, keeping the poly count low or whatever, and then still having them out there though, so that people can be like, yeah, I can go to that place.
Yeah, so LOD is level of detail.
Right.
And so for different bits of geometry, we define different levels of detail so that when you get closer, we have we have a lot of detail. You can see all the leaves, you can see all the stems. When you get further away, we slowly turn that down until it looks kind of like mush, but it's small enough that you won't notice.
But you're saying, like, at least have some smush, not off.
Yeah, exactly.
Right in the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
cool.
you can notice that. It's so funny because sometimes it's only a couple of pixels on the screen, but if it did disappear,
Oh, yes. Your eye
goes
goes to it, yeah.
immediately.
Because we're human beings. We're like, is this reality? No, that's not reality. Because it just went away.
Yeah, especially if someone's like trying to hide in the bushes and then you walk far enough away and the bush disappears.
Oh, wait, has that happened?
That's happened to me in other games.
That needs to be
A
a
lot
GIF.
of games do have that problem, which is
Do
kind
they?
of funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see a meme or a GIF of that moment of like some guy like just ready to snipe her, and he's like, wah, wah, wah. The bush is gone.
I won't name games, but there's screenshots you can see where it's a screenshot from one player's perspective, and they're like, all right, I got the ambush. I'm in the circle. I'm in a bush. There's no way they'll find me. And then the other person's just like, what are you doing in the middle of a field?
Nice, because they can't see it. That's great. I'm gonna find that after. All right, let's move into questions. These are questions from the social medias, from the communities. And I picked the ones that seem to you guys might be able to answer them.
Sure.
First one is from Rainier Dash on Discord. I think it's from Mark. Could you ask the environment artist designers, will the game have any urban environments? Well, we just answered that.
Yeah, we just answered that. So yeah, definitely.
That was an easy one, huh?
Yeah, pretty easy.
All right.
It's gonna be. I don't know if we can hint at the size, but it's going to be a pretty nice, sizable urban environment. There's going to be lots of stuff to explore. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Again, as we play it, if anything changes and gets even a little bit bigger, it's going to be awesome. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't need to be this massive Grand Theft Auto City.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every little change in this world makes a big difference, I think. So,
yeah.
Next one is from Jarv on Twitter. What other games did you take influence from when approaching Scavengers? Did you experiment with different art styles during development? That's us and Daryl, or you guys and Daryl. But
that's a tricky one because art style. Yeah, that would probably be a good question for Daryl. I know that we did start on a path initially with the art style, and we've done a couple of tweaks recently to kind of get it a little bit more on the stylized side. I don't know if there's any specific game that we kind of reference in terms of style. I know that, for me, when I'm looking at the environment that we're working on, I mean, Red Dead, the recent one, had some really great examples of, frozen landscapes, which is really awesome. And even, Horizon Zero Dawn is another
so
amazing
good.
game,
Yeah.
which is, they kind of have the post-apocalyptic thing kind of going in an open world. So that's a really great reference, and they did a beautiful job on that.
And I think those references are great because I can see the influence there a little bit because of, I like the idea that our game and games that do this well, the post-apocalyptic areas and world can be beautiful, but also destroyed. And I think that's like the defining factor with those games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny you brought up Horizon Zero Dawn as well, because I was using that for reference on a lot of the snow effects as well. And I was also looking at Batman Arkham City for some of the snow effects, and parts of our system. I kind of gained a lot of inspiration from a paper written about Rise of the Tomb Raider's snow deformation system.
Oh, okay.
Goes into a lot
is
of
nice too.
Yeah, and there's a really nice paper out there that kind of goes into a lot of the technical details that kind of helped me a lot when I was kind of designing the system.
That's cool that they put that out there, that paper.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that snow is really good. But I think ours is great as well.
Me too.
Anhanga from Discord and Twitter and all the things. When you are designing a map environment, what is the most fun, random thing you've thrown into an environment? Something necessarily not on your to-do list, but you just thought, this would be fun to put this right here.
Oh my goodness. For this game or any game?
I guess it's just when you're designing a map or environment. I guess it could be any game or a game. You could use something from the past first.
Yeah, because this game, I've placed a bunch of cool stuff. I don't think anything that stood out is like I remember when I was on Mass Effect, I had to design bathrooms for a while.
Really?
In like a DLC, which is kind of hilarious.
Wait, the DLC was bathroom DLC? No,
It was like
go to the bathroom
it was
now.
based on an asteroid. And it was hilarious because I designed this bathroom and I spent all this time working on it. And then I realized you had to close the bathroom because it's a bathroom, so you don't want people looking in. I thought it looked really cool, so I just put a glass wall. And it looked totally ridiculous.
Oh, so people could just
that
see
stayed
in the
I think.
bathroom. That's awesome. Now I want to go back and get the DLC somehow and just go to that bathroom and look
I won't
at
say
it.
which. People have to play.
Okay,
all
nice.
of the DLCs.
Chase, have you ever done anything like that in Scavengers yet? Or
Well, I mean, we were just talking about Broken Tree.
Broken
well,
Tree, yeah.
I feel like that counts probably.
We'll have that be our answer.
As for stuff I do, I mean, I work a lot more on the engineering side. So if I kind of put stuff into the code just for fun,
Oh yeah.
usually that just gets thrown out in code review.
Yeah.
So it's we do less of the Easter eggs, I guess, on my end.
We'd have to take a screenshot of the code and then release that.
Put it in, put it in there somewhere.
Which we wouldn't do because what? Okay, moving on. Dunmeister asked, will there be verticality in the map, which we just talked about, towers we can
Yes.
climb, etc. And so, again, the answer is yes.
Yeah, even in the map right now, there's a couple of buildings. You guys probably play with the church buildings where you can go all the way up on the roof of some of these gigantic buildings.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of cool because you can see really far. You can kind of plot your approach to different situations, and there's definitely quite a
Yes
bit of
is
that.
the answer.
I think we even have a shot in our gameplay trailer where someone's jumping off the walkways in the bandit camp. And
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's a pretty common scenario I find myself doing if I've got a melee weapon. I'm just jumping on people from up
all
there.
the time.
Yeah.
You guys know I only play as Jay, and so
Yeah.
I have a halberd and I just jump and attack people.
And I mean, if you have more of a brain, you can just stand up there and shoot them with
Uh-huh.
guns.
Right.
But
Where's
It's
the
pretty
fun in
fun.
that?
Yeah, exactly.
you gotta
Yeah.
jump there.
I was thinking, now that you just said that, I'm going to go to the top of the church right after this and jump off it and attack somebody with my halberd.
I still want to try and get on that main church building, the actual pointy.
Oh,
See
yeah.
if I can get up there. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm going to
if
do
you
that
can right now.
next. Next one, sword sound. Sword? Does
Like
that sound weird?
sword?
I know.
Sword?
Sword? You don't pronounce the W.
Is it
Sword.
like Cool Whip?
Cool Whip. It's exactly like Cool Whip. Sword. Sword sound 84. I'd like to see scavengers go deep inside the ocean. This one's good. And do sea attacks like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, boats, islands, storms, pirates, and other creatures. They say dolphins, mermaids. I think all those people will be frozen. So
Sold
those
me on
animals.
dolphins and mermaids. That sounds amazing.
Okay, you're on board actually. And
Sold.
then there are also shifting and cycling through the weather with the water, so like rain and water tornadoes and stuff like that. So yeah,
It's kind of cool. I don't think
Yeah.
we have any plans for that right now. I mean, the environment itself is very much frozen.
yeah.
So you will be encountering water, but for the most part, it's going to be very frozen.
It's very frozen. So the boats aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
I think I saw a boat on the map somewhere, like a broken boat. Maybe I
There
didn't.
might be. If
Yeah.
it is, it's probably frozen in the ice.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. So cool idea. And mental note, Mark was like all on board with
Yeah.
dolphins and mermaids.
Future expansion.
All right. And that's it. That's it. We got through the questions about environments. Good job, guys.
Awesome.
all right.
I'm going to do a couple updates real quick, and they are this. I'm working on video. If everybody is, just be patient with me. We're actually building, to be transparent, we're building capture stations that are literally for this. Because my computer's been trying really hard, and it's having problems. And also, we're working on the game. So currently, I'm working on a video for the Scourge. So I'm going to show a lot more of the Scourge and kind of have a fun, like, welcome to the Scourge. Meet the Scourge. So that'll be the next video that goes up, and I'm working that right now. And then we're doing gameplay sessions with these capture stations, and we really will show people a lot more gameplay of the whole match. Shout out to Hayden on Discord. He broke down our last podcast. Every single thing that was said on it, he broke it down into a whole list.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, incredible.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty
so
amazing.
good job, Hayden. And good job, Chase and Mark. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for having us.
Any shout outs before we go? I don't know what that means, but
Shout out to the team again for doing our job.
Shout out to Midwinter. Okay, I guess that's it.
At Play Scavengers.
Oh, now he's doing my job. There you go.
Yeah,
Do it.
exactly.
Do it.
Come on, Carlos.
No, you do
That-
it.
that's all I know.
I'm tired. You take over.
I just know our Twitter handle.
Wait, that's all? Then you're not doing my job then.
I'm sorry.
Help me.
I'm not a social media guy. You're the social media guy.
I know, but I'm tired. Where else are we on the internet?
Twitter, Instagram.
Yes.
yes.
What's the Instagram?
I hope it's the same thing.
Nope.
I don't know then.
Scavengers Game.
Thank you, Chase.
Yes.
So hang on, Scavengers Game on Instagram and Twitter is what again?
Chase?
Play Scavengers.
Play_scavengers.
Play_Scavengers.
Okay,
We're
right on.
TikTok.
We're on TikTok,
We have
now,
TikTok now.
because you are eating a hot wing on there.
Yep. I nearly died.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I think that's Scavenger's Game. Yep,
Sure.
that's Scavenger's Game. I should know that. I just set it up. And we're on YouTube, but we don't have the URL yet because you have to have like so many followers before you get your URL.
Oh, yeah.
So we're youtube.com/ a bunch of crap,
Sure.
text. And then where else are we? We're on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. We have a website.
We do.
Yeah.
What's
Yes.
that?
And it's a very pretty website.
It is pretty right now, but I'm working on it too. I can say that real quick. I'm making it so it's going to have dynamic, like the Twitter feed will be on there, all the YouTube videos
awesome.
we do.
Cool.
It's going to have concept art and all that stuff that we get all the time. We're going to put it up there.
Oh, cool.
So it's going to be very reactive and fun. Yeah, and that name of that website is
Midwinter.net.
no.
That's another pretty website.
I love how it is very pretty. I love how confident you did that too. I was like, the name for the Scavengers website is midwinter.net.
It's related.
Scavengersgame.com.
Scavengers Game.
And that's it. We're done. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.